Hello, everybody. A very good evening, very good afternoon, wherever you are. And there are a few people, not as many, but we will see. I'm sure there'll be more people turning up. A very warm welcome to the mid-January YouTube show. Well, it's already second half of January, which is just scary. Time is just flying by. It's just absolutely unbelievable. And well, I sat down a few days ago wondering what the topic for today might be. And suddenly it was just very clear there was only one topic: what's the meaning of life? And I thought, that's easy. Well, maybe not that easy, but I'm sure we will get there, and we will get there together. And this is what I was basically told by my guides, to just go along and to just develop how we can find an answer, how we can get an answer that makes sense to us about the meaning of life. And that's so lovely from Essex, from Kent, from Bucharest. Wonderful. It's still just a few people. I'm sure there are a few more people joining at a later stage. And there are so many more people anyway watching these YouTube shows later on in a replay. Well, I'm back in London, and I have this very weird thing that I put right next to me. It just suddenly looked so empty just to have this white screen, which is actually a roller blind behind me. So I thought I just put some seasonal decoration, which is a bit, doesn't have many leaves at the moment, but at least it gives it some structure. And yes, hello. Wonderful to see you all here. It's so nice to be able to connect again, to reconnect. January is, well, this January is really, really strange. A lot of people feel it hasn't really started. They are right in the middle of January, and yet it feels like the momentum is missing for a lot of people. It's most people I actually talk to that say things like that, and I wonder why this is. And all I can come up with is that we are so overwhelmed by what's going on in the world, the barrage of news constantly. It's unbelievable. I don't even want to talk about politics and the potential change of the world map that has pretty much been accepted since the Second World War. But there is a huge train crash in Spain, and there are the weather is really weird. If you hear some strange noises here, there's, I don't know what it is, like a storm or something like that outside in London at the moment. We get nothing uplifting. It almost seems like, is there any hope? Is there any way forward? And it just feels very strange to be in all this negativity. And when we get something a bit more positive, then it's kind of superficial. It's got to do with some television shows and some reality TV stars. And there is just nothing really, really uplifting. So is that the meaning of life? To go through phases like that? Is that the meaning of life, to be annoyed, to be stressed, to suffer as we have done for such long periods? And if not, if there's something more positive, then why are we experiencing so little of that? Why are we struggling so much? And I feel it's partially got to do a little bit with the idea that once we know the meaning of life, we should follow it. If this is a dream, if this is some exciting idea, then we should really jump into it and do it. Just do it. But then again, to do this, first we really need to see what the meaning of life is, or what the meaning of life could be. And when I started thinking about this, and even if somebody asked me straight away, so what's the meaning of life, I would give an answer that is so less clear-cut than what it used to be only a few years ago. I feel this is an incredibly deep question, and an answer to a deep question is not always just straightforward, and not always just very simple. It may be multi-layered. But when we ask about the meaning of life, the question is, what is life? What is life? So what's the opposite of life? Quite simply, we would say we are either alive or we are dead. Okay, so it's the opposite of being dead. So when we're alive, we are, well, where are we? We are talking about our presence on this planet. So we are talking about this time from birth to our passing as our life. And of course, when we then start considering the idea that this may indeed be one of several lives, and that in between there is an absence from this planet, there is a time where we're not in a physical body, but we as a soul, even we as an individual soul, as an individual being, are going on. So what does it mean to live then? What does the incarnation mean? And suddenly it's quite interesting. So we might not even ask what's the meaning of life, but what's the meaning of this life? And I find that's very, very interesting. Years ago, I would have said that ultimately the idea of being in an incarnation is to explore, to experience, to develop, and potentially even to get to a point where we realize who we really are, where we realize this, that we are divine beings, that we are a spirit in a body. I wouldn't give such a simple answer anymore, given that quite a few people have realized, at least to a certain degree, that we are a spirit in a body, and still we are kind of jumping back and forth from the spirit realm into this three-dimensional realm and back. So why are we doing that? I feel, and this is very much my understanding, that there is still a lot to explore, and this is what we want to do. Now the question is, who are we? Who is it that is exploring, or who is exploring life? Is it us? Is it Torsten jumping in and out of an incarnation? In the last one, I may have been a woman, and my name would not have been Torsten. So yeah, that's a bit simple. Is it individual souls going back and forth, or is it ultimately something deeper? Is it the divine? Is it consciousness experiencing just being from different aspects and different angles? So even on this planet, going back and forth again and again as a human being, we may be a man, we may be a woman, we may be incredibly bright and intellectual, we may be struggling with memory and with more complicated tasks. We may be very sporty and very fit, or we may indeed be born with a disability, or we may experience really life-threatening and life-changing illnesses and accidents. So yes, we are experiencing so many different things as a soul, but at the same time, of course, there's also this deeper level of the universal soul or consciousness just looking at life. But then the question is, and that for me is at the moment, looking at the world, looking at politics, looking at the huge challenges that we are experiencing. And I'm talking from such a position of privilege. I'm talking as somebody who lives in the West, in a liberal democracy, and can afford a normal life, even though I at the moment move from place to place at the moment because I don't have a permanent place where I'm traveling so much, but still it's a luxury to always have a roof above our head. And there was a time, there were years leading to and after my bankruptcy where I would not have been able to say that I'm relatively well off and I can afford what I feel is a normal life. But I'm talking from this kind of Western take on that, and there's so many countries where the vast majority of people live in horrible circumstances. There is repression and there is famine, and there is there are all sorts of illnesses and daily challenges, just unbelievable. So yes, we are exploring life, and we are going through really difficult times. But we are coming again and again. And at some stage, I wonder what is driving us to do that. Because when I look at world history, I'm not entirely certain whether this is really going in a direction that could be seen as a development, certainly as a development in terms of technology and science, but in terms of ethics, in terms of how we live together as a society, I am not sure. So, is the meaning of life really to learn? And if it is, isn't it time that we really learn? And isn't it time that we actually may see some meaning in bringing incredibly powerful, positive change to the world? I am putting that in a question because everything is individual. There is the bigger meaning of life, which is the exploration of what it is to be human, of what it is to be a spirit in a body, and what it is to be looking at life from different angles and with different abilities. But beyond that, there might be a particular meaning just for us in this incarnation. And I would like to do a little exercise to let Reiki help us to see whether we can gain some more clarity about the meaning of life for us in this incarnation. So when you're ready, I would like to ask you to just bring the hands together in Gasho for a moment and connect to Reiki, and just close your eyes and feel the connection. And let's do this in 2 steps. Let's first ask Reiki, ask the universe, what is the particular meaning for my life, for my incarnation. And then just move up to your third eye and see what comes into your mind. And then come back, bring your hands back in front of your heart chakra and just place your hands on your heart for a moment and let Reiki flow and let that resonate and feel the support, feel the love, feel the power that you can actually fulfill what you've been shown and step more into why you are here. Just let Reiki flow for a moment. And then take a moment to thank Reiki and come back into the here and now. That was interesting. For me, it was very interesting. Not only that, I was kind of, no, I wasn't told off. I was kind of just shown with a bit more clarity, even more clarity than I felt before, that there is something in particular that I have been working on and that I need to work on even more strongly. And now let's do another exercise and see if we can get the bigger picture. Just for a moment, once more, place your hands together, close your eyes and connect or reconnect to Reiki. And when you feel the connection, just ask Reiki or ask the universe, what is the meaning of life in general? Not just your personal life, but in general. Just see if you get an idea. What is the meaning of life? And then bring your hands back down again, take a moment to thank Reiki and come back into the here and now. So it'll be interesting to see whether we got different understandings, different ideas about generally what is the meaning of life. Or one could argue, what does it mean to be human? I got something that is really, really quite interesting and that is very much connected with the project of my new book that I'm working on at present. So that's so interesting. I need to somehow go in there a little bit deeper. But that's interesting, the question that is just posed here. I got nothing at all. Then followed by the question, does that mean there is no meaning to life? maybe, maybe there is no particular meaning. It is simply to live. Because do we need meaning if we are already divine beings? I find that's a very interesting question to ponder. Almost too deep for a Tuesday afternoon or evening somewhere, but it's very, very powerful. So how do we give it meaning? How do we create a life that we enjoy? If the meaning is not in suffering, which I strongly believe it isn't, then we can just as well enjoy life. So yes, learning is an interesting word as well. Of course, we learn, and we learn through all sorts of means. But ultimately, shouldn't this enable us to live, once we learned, happier and sharing more and just living in this awareness of who we really are? So I do feel there is still a lot that can be done. And for this, we really need help. And I tend to find that the Reiki shares that we are doing in this show is so helpful for everybody who is taking part live, and for everybody who's taking part in a replay. It is just such a boost. It really deepens the connection. It gives so much, well, peace and balance, and really, really helps to deeply heal and to keep the momentum to carry on and to make the world a better place and to improve our lives and to share and to really create a world that we can enjoy more and everybody can. So, therefore, I would like to invite you to join everybody for a Reiki share. So when you're ready, once more, just bring your hands together and connect to Reiki. And once you feel your connection to Reiki, then just connect with everybody else on this Reiki share who is present now and who is joining at a later stage. You can just open your hands and set your intention to connect with everybody, or you draw the connection symbol for a moment and really deepen this connection. And then when you feel this connection to everybody, of course, you're receiving Reiki from everybody, through everybody at the same time. Just allow this web of healing and support really start flowing, I guess. That's the word. So just lean back and relax and let Reiki do its work. Just feel the peace and the calm, the help of letting go of our worries. And of course, if you have any physical problems or anything else that's bothering you, just set your intention that this Reiki share, that the Reiki flowing now will help with what you are struggling with. And just really sense inside of you, sense inside of this web of healing energy that connects us, and just see how it feels. Just sense the depth and the power. And then you can bring your hands back together again and take a moment to thank Reiki once more and come back into the here and now. Wow, this is something that I really feel I needed. Thank you so much for sharing. And thank you so much for being here. I just felt it was an odd, interesting topic that came up, but apparently this is what we should see, should tackle and ponder over. And I'm sure this will now have set in motion some kind of process of thinking a bit more deeply about this. I can see, obviously, I know that you're all over the world. In London, we have got a lot going on at the Reiki Academy, but there are a few really special events that we often have a lot of international visitors, participants, students to join. First and foremost, the master courses. And this year there are two. One is in April and in Glastonbury, an incredible place often referred to as the heart chakra of the world. And the second date will be at the end of August in central London, in Notting Hill. This has now been confirmed, and over the next few days, this will be on the website, so you can check that out. And yes, I have been thinking about Scotland. I do hope that not too distant future we will also do something there. And of course, I've been invited by Alternatives to run a retreat for Reiki and crystal healing in Santorini. And this is just an amazing place. It's over Easter, from the 1st to the 6th of April. And if that is something you may be interested in, please do have a look at alternatives.org.uk. You find also the link in the invitations I sent out for tonight. And otherwise, I just look forward to seeing you again next week. I hope until then you have a lovely week or rest of the week, and what's going on in the world, just let's try to just keep that a little bit out. Of course, it does affect us. It does, well, we do notice that, we do care, but just let Reiki help us so that it does not affect us as deeply as it sometimes can. So I look forward to seeing you again next week.